Alright, so my name is Kevin Biegert, and what I'm going to be talking to you about today is historical preservation. Specifically, I'm going to be focusing on the preservation of Civil War battlefields, but as I go along, keep in mind that it's kind of a topic that is general. Historic sites in the United States are disappearing, whether they're Revolutionary War or community historical sites or Civil War battlefields as well. So what I'm going to talk about is how battlefields are in fact hallowed ground, and they are graves. A lot of people don't realize, developers sort of see them as land, but they don't realize that thousands of people did die on this land. How the land is disappearing, kind of what's going on, and who's trying to take over the land. And also the Civil War Trust, which is the main organization that is trying to preserve the land and save it for future generations. So this is a topic that is very dear to my heart. The reason being is that I am a Civil War reenactor, or call it a living historian. So a lot of times as a reenactor we will get to go out and visit historical sites, or even sometimes we get to reenact on the actual battlefield. So it's kind of a disheartening thing to see the land that you are walking on, the place where thousands of people died, disappearing right before your eyes. So first what I want to do is kind of give you a general overview of the land in the United States, where some of the battles took place. A lot of people don't realize that the entire United States pretty much, or east of here, was involved in the Civil War. It's estimated that there were 10,000 battles, skirmishes, what have you, throughout the entire war. Not just the big ones like Gettysburg or Antietam or any of those. There were actually tens of thousands of small battles all along the United States. So when I say we're talking about Civil War preservation being a big deal, it is really a big deal. So first what I want to talk about is how battlefields are graves. To give you a couple of numbers, 620,000 Americans died in this one war. Up until World War II, more men died in the Civil War than all of the other wars combined, put together. And part of that was because there were two sides, and they were both American sides, you know, the North and the South. That's one of the reasons why the numbers were so high. The other reason is that they were using weapons that were a little more advanced in their tactics, but you can see that there were a lot of Americans that died in this war. A couple other numbers: Antietam, which is in Maryland, was and is considered the bloodiest day in American history. It's 26,000 Americans dead within 8 hours. Antietam is actually one of the battlefields that has really been, or a lot of money has been thrown at to preserve for that reason. Gettysburg, pretty much everybody knows, 51,000 died over a period of 3 days. And to kind of relate it to North Carolina, a lot of people don't know this as well, but North Carolina was the #1 supplier of troops to the Confederate Army. The other downside of that, I guess you could say, is that we also lost the most men in the Civil War. 20,000, and the next highest number of men lost in the Confederacy was 7,000. That was Virginia. Is everybody okay with graphic pictures? I guess. So this is Antietam. This is the bloodiest day in American history that I was just talking about. This is a photograph that was taken just after the battle, and you can see the dead and dying, just to kind of, so you can kind of see or visualize what these fields mean to some people. And then this is it today. This is the sunken road, which was the center of a lot of fighting throughout that day. If you know what Arlington Cemetery is, it is also a huge Civil War battlefield. It was actually, gravesite. It used to be Robert E. Lee's house, and as kind of a spiteful action, the Union Army buried a whole bunch of their soldiers in Robert E. Lee's back house, and now it's the Arlington Cemetery. So now I want to talk about where the land is going. According to the Civil War Trust, 1 acre of land is lost per hour per day. And that is due really to development. Walmart, it seems, it targets battlefields. I don't know why, but they seem to want to put Walmarts on top of battlefields. Only 20% of those 10,000 battle sites that I was talking to you about are still preserved today. And it's also said that the fate of historical land, these battlefields, is going to be determined within the next 5 to 15 years. That's huge. That's right around the corner. So what it's really due to is Walmart and all of the rest of the urban development. Even land that is preserved still has shortcomings. If you visit some of these battlefields today, there's noise pollution, there's roads going right in between them and such. If you know where Bentonville Battlefield is in North Carolina, that's actually one of the sites that the Civil War Trust has preserved. A lot of it is money today. It can either be purchased outright or a contract can be purchased with the person who owns the land. And like I said before, although my focus was on the Civil War, this is something that is across all historical sites. So I hope I gave you a brief overview of history and how it's kept alive today and how we can preserve it for tomorrow.